One thing that still turns heads and earns respect is class. That's right, I said it, class. And men love class. So let's get into a little bit of why. Because I didn't just make that up. I promise you, I have heard men say this. So what is it about a classy woman that men just find irresistible? Well, I think Maya Angelou said it best. People might forget what you said or what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And I'm paraphrasing that, so I will place that exact quote up here so that you can see it for yourself. But it's the same thing with men. They will remember long after the date that feeling of elegance, the aura you had about you, and that it made them feel more comfortable. And that's what they are going to remember. Not just about what you wore or how you looked, but how you made them feel. All of these things are equally as important. So why is class such an important thing? I talk about standing out in society in the most positive way possible, and class is rare. It's one of those few things that helps you to really stand out in a positive way from the crowd. It sets you apart. And it's something that emotionally mature masculine men, they crave class, because men value respect and what they have to earn. And a classy woman says, I respect myself and I know what I deserve. Okay, so now let's talk about why etiquette still matters today. So we live in a world that's fast swipe culture, microwave food to get it hot in a matter of seconds, even faster flings. Some relationships are shorter than some TV shows. However, etiquette is the ultimate filter when it comes to these situations, because it's the quiet way in which you communicate to someone that I am someone who values myself and you should value me as well. It is the quiet way of saying, I am not for everyone. I am for those who really value and desire quality. Manners are timeless, and while trends come and go and we see them every day with various things in fashion and makeup, jewelry, jobs, etc., etiquette is the one thing that stands the test of time, and it lingers. Etiquette equals self-value. So when you have manners, I've said this before, it's not about being perfect. It's about excellence, not perfection. But when you honor other people in a respectful manner, it says that you honor yourself first. It says, I take care of me. I value me, and therefore you should value me as well. Because think about it. Someone who does not honor or value themselves, they're subconsciously communicating that because I don't care about me, you shouldn't care about me either. So do understand that that is a non-verbal form of communication, and people may not even be able to put their finger right on exactly what it is about you that makes them feel one way or another, but it is that non-verbal communication, and it starts with self. So always love and value yourself, because that will get you loved and valued by others in return. How etiquette can make your date feel? Well, when you have etiquette, it makes people, or when you show good etiquette and good manners, it makes those around you feel comfortable. So it is a nonverbal way of communicating to your date that I value your time, I value your presence, and that's reciprocal. I just touched on that a little bit before, but going into a little bit more of how it makes your date feel, when you show up with that peaceful grace, that poise, and that present, it just somehow makes people feel safe. So I talked a little bit about energies, feminine energy versus masculine energy. And so these things are kind of intertwined also with class and elegance. So when you are calm, cool, collected, poised, and confident, that sets your date at ease, and they are going to value that. They are going to like that they can be around you and feel comfortable in being themselves. They don't have to guess what you're thinking, because you're doing things either consciously or subconsciously, but just through your aura, you are helping to make them feel comfortable. You're creating a safe environment for them, and they're not feeling like they have to be on guard and dodge sarcasm or nasty comments, or having to keep their guard up because for fear of you crossing boundaries, which I'll get to in a little bit. But you've created a safe space, physically, psychologically, and emotionally, and that is invaluable. The basics of being well-mannered. Okay, let's break this down, and I have 6 things for you, 6 habits that instantly will upgrade your dating game. But before I get into these 6 things, let me remind you that I do have my ebook out, Dating with Class and Elegance. I will link to it below, and here's a preview of it right here above. But do check out that book if you have been striking out in the dating game. Throughout the pages of this book, I go through some of the things that I have gone through in this playlist. In fact, this playlist is at a very high summary level, capturing some of the things that I get into in this book. However, I cannot share all of those things on YouTube. I need to ensure that those who are going to embark on this journey, that you are really bought in, not just literally, but I need to know that you are ready, really willing and ready to affect changes for yourself, because some of the information contained therein might ruffle your feathers. It can contain some truths that are hard to accept, even for me. And I am working on an e-course to go along with it. And as I'm working on this e-course and thinking of things to help provide an illustration for you, I'm kind of stepping on my own toes as well and seeing areas where, Brandy, you can do better, and you need to do better. So check out that book if you are really, truly ready to date with intentionality and for success, and to think about it from a strategic standpoint instead of just going with the flow. It's only $37 right now, and you can get it at my website, alwaysclassyelegant.org, and I'll link to it below as well. So now let's get into the 6 tips that I have to help you up your dating game. I am going to refer to my notes just to make sure that I don't forget anything or any point for any of these things. So the first thing is punctuality. You want to make sure that, punctuality. You want to make sure that you show up on time. If you're going to be late, make sure that you call and inform them as soon as possible. Don't wait until you are already 10 or 15 minutes late to say that you're going to be another 10 or 15 minutes late. That is not respecting someone's time, and it's just really very inelegant. It's rude. It doesn't show that you have respect. So respect other people's time as you would like them to respect your time. The next thing is active listening. You've probably heard this before, but we are going to go over it again. You need to listen. And I was recently listening to a podcast with another, I think he's calling himself a dating coach, and he is someone who's got a degree in statistics, and he gave some advice that is opposite to the advice that I will give you based on what I have seen and heard, and that is that women are not talking enough. And I couldn't disagree more. I have seen more women share way more than they should initially. I've heard them share some things that you really should not share with a person until you've been dating for probably at least a good 3 months, or until you are in a committed relationship. So with that, yes, practice active listening. The reason you need to do this, ladies, is you don't want to miss anything that he may be saying between the lines. You know, sometimes you have to read between the lines. Well, I say sometimes you have to listen between the words to understand what they're really saying or what they really meant. And when you are doing more talking than listening, you can miss very important red flags. You can miss little micro things that tell you who this person really is. So I definitely encourage you to practice active listening, and with that, to show that you are actually listening to them, repeat some of the things that they said and maybe ask follow-up questions based on what they have said. Okay, number 3, respecting boundaries. Some of you are really good at flirting. You don't mind flirting at all. However, there is a line between a casual, fun flirt and then pushing it too far. So you should always respect boundaries. And whether it is physical space or emotional space, make sure that you do not cross the line. And if ever you are in doubt, don't do it. And if you need a little bit more guidance, a little bit more coaching or some tutoring in this field, book coaching with me. You can go to my website, alwaysclassyelegant.org, click on the coaching link, and I've got 2 coaches, and you can select to book a session with one of us. But be mindful of boundaries. Your own, you should be clear on what your own boundaries are before you go out on a date, but also make sure that you are not violating the boundaries that we would practice as just a good common courtesy. Okay, number 4, hygiene. Now, you don't need to be flawless, but you do need to have good hygiene. Be clean, smell good, have your hair combed, nails done. I am a proponent for getting, or an advocate rather, for getting a manicure, whether you go get one or do it yourself. Make sure that your polish is all the way on, no chipped nails, no dirty nails. And if you are wearing open-toed shoes or a sandal that shows your toes and your heels, make sure you get that pedicure. There should not be any crusty cuticles anywhere. We should not have any rusty heels. So make sure you give your feet a good slathering of some lotion or oil and manicure your toes. Swipe at least a coat of color onto your toes. So the point here is not perfection. Again, it's not about trying to look magazine flawless, but it is about looking neat, clean, polished, and put together. Because when you put effort into yourself, that communicates to others that they should put effort into you, or that will communicate to your date rather, that he should put effort into you, and effort is hot. Number 5, dressing for the occasion. You want to make sure that you are appropriately dressed for whatever it is that you may be doing on that date. And ladies, with this, I know it's very popular, especially here in the United States and Western society, to show a lot of skin. Do not do that. That immediately ruins your class and elegance. It looks thirsty and desperate, and it says that it's counter to what I mentioned earlier about how showing that you value yourself and says that you're not for everyone. Well, when you dress too provocatively and when you show too much skin, that communicates exactly the opposite. It says that I'm for everyone, and the first person to approach can, whoever's got the right bid, I'm yours for the taking. So avoid that. Make sure that you don't have to go spend a lot of money on dating clothes unless you really want to or you really, really need to. But the point is to make sure that you are dressed appropriately for whatever you might be doing on that date, that you are clean, no wrinkles, no stains, nothing ripped or torn, but that you look, again, polished and put together. So you can even bring out a blazer instead of maybe the same old sweatshirt or a hoodie that you may have otherwise been wearing. The point is, dress in a manner that shows that you care. Next up, we have, for number 6, good table manners. Don't talk with your mouth full. I know it is so common. If you go to a restaurant, you'll see it everywhere. We even see it on TV. And to the benefit of the hosts hosting a TV show, I can't find my words today, but they have to keep the show going. So sometimes they have to talk while they've got food in their mouths. That's about the only time I feel like anybody can get away with it, because when you are at a restaurant, especially on a date, it is such a turnoff. It is so off-putting to see chewed food in your mouth. And Men are very observant. He's observing way more than you can actually ever imagine. So do yourself a favor. If you have this habit, work on it. This is something that you can do at home all day, every day, anytime you eat. So you don't necessarily need to be out on a date in order to practice it, but practice it at home, because what you do in private will betray you in public, and that can be for good habits or bad habits. Additionally, that goes along with good table manners is the proper use of your napkin. You should place it in your lap immediately once you sit down and use it appropriately, but also being polite to the waitstaff. Again, it is just so unbecoming of anyone, but especially as the classy, elegant woman that you are, to be impolite to waitstaff. There's just no reason for it. So these are some small gestures, but they really do have a very big impact. So put them into practice. Okay, so final thoughts. Manners are not rules to restrict you. However, they are guidelines or tools rather to empower you. They help build respect and chemistry, and build on any chemistry that has already been established. And they remind the world that, hey, you are not average. So there's a lot of things that we have out here in the world today that catch attention. Not all attention is good attention, but when you have class, that is so rare that it is a head turner. It is an attention getter. It's something that is going to linger in the minds of the people that you interact with. They are going to remember you by those things. So it's something that earns admiration. So when it comes to dating, it is such a game changer. And if you get my book and employ those tools and the knowledge that you learn, you are going to stand out in the most wonderful of ways. Okay, ladies, that is it for this video. So if you're ready to level up your love life, well then get my book, Dating with Class and Elegance, but also don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and leave me a comment. I don't want to just be talking at you. I want to talk with you. So drop me a comment or a line, and remember, class is confidence, and always keep it classy and elegant, my darlings. Take care and thank you. Bye.